Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create 4 different looks using just one light. This is actually a very simple low budget lighting setup because it doesn't require a large studio and many times you don't even need a softbox. So stick around, I'm going to show you how to maximize this simple lighting setup to get stunning result. Okay, let's get started. The first look is a white background. White background in studio shoots sometimes could be challenging because the thing is like you need to make sure the white backgrounds maintain white without overexpose your subject. And this sometimes is very hard to do with just one light, and many times the photographer, how they do it is like they use a 2 light to point at the background, just work for the background to make the background white, and then they use another 1 or 2 light work on the subject. So this can easily turn into like a 3 or 4 light setup. But you can do this with just one light. So what I did is I just use one light without softbox. But instead of pointing light at my subject, I point the light at the wall and let the light bounce back to the subject. So this is one thing. The second thing is an important detail, is I position the light in the way so the bounce light between the subject and bounce light, the distance between the subject and the bounce light and distance between the background and the bounce light is same. So when the distance is same, the light intensity on both of them will be same. So you don't have to worry about the exposure difference. So that way you will get the true white background without your subject being overexposed. Of course, this lighting setup by itself, you might have some issue because the lighting is coming from 90 degrees all the way from the side, and then you will find out sometimes one set of model's face could be too dark. Some photographers think this is okay, some photographers cannot stand it. For me, I sort of do both, depends on what look I want. But if it does bother you that you really don't like the too much shadow on one side, you can easily fix this just using a reflector. So the reflector I use is actually something I bought from Home Depot. It's just like a foam board with one side is in silver finish. I almost always use a silver finish side to bounce the light because it's very effective. Yeah, so you can totally just do that to fix that problem with the shadow. All right, before I move on to the second lighting setup, I want to talk a little bit about the light I use. So in this photo shoot, I use a video LED light. It's from iFootage. The model number is Angelfish SL1 400 BNS. So this light is a 400 watt LED with a super high color accuracy. So the reason I choose this light is first, the studio photo shoot can be demanding. So sometimes power is important for us, especially when you do full lens photo shoot and then you want a large area, and then many times you need, like especially the case we bounce the light, not directly point the light at the subject, we need a lot more power. 400 watt LED is super bright. And actually in this photo shoot, I never get to a point I need to use 100% of the brightness. So that's one thing. The second thing is, when you use the light, the color accuracy is very important. You really don't want to deal with any color shift, color cast in the post editing. It's just annoying. Like no matter you like editing or not, deal with that. It's just trouble. So you want some light to give you a very high color accuracy, so you just don't have to worry about that. So this light definitely will help us to fix that problem. And some photographer might wonder, okay, so why even bother use video light when you have the strobe? So let me tell you this. I've been using video light on photography for more than a year, and I absolutely love it for 2 main reasons. The first is the video light I use, I can adjust the color, like either change is a bicolor or some RGB color, so I can get any color I like. This really saves me a lot of trouble because I no longer have to deal with gel or anything. If I want to match the color with something, or sometimes you want to have a 2 different color tone, like a key light is a warm tone, the kicker light is colder tone, things like that. With strobe, you have to use gel. I just don't like to use gel at all. And then LED is super easy. That's the first reason. The second reason is more important for me. Because video light is not like a strobe light, it's constantly on. So it's very easy for you to see how light change when you move the light either closer, further away, change the angle, or adjust different sets of light modifier. It's very easy for you to see how light changes. So this is important for either someone just trying to learn how light works, or maybe you've been shooting for many years, you just want to experiment with different lighting setup. This will be super helpful for you. And then like what I said, I like to use reflectors instead of using another light. First, it's cheaper. You don't need to buy so many lights. The second is like they don't take much space and like it's super lightweight, easy to move around, right? And I like to use a silver reflector, but silver reflector is a little bit tricky because they are effective on bouncing the light, but the angle need to be accurate. So this is something hard to deal with when you use a flash. But with continual light, and you can easily adjust your silver reflectors to make sure the light is bouncing at the right angle. I know somebody gonna point out, oh yeah, you can use the modeling light on the strobe light. Yes, that's right. But there's a problem with the modeling light with the strobe because the strobe light is not designed to work as a continual light. So they have some drawback. They are very hot, and the fan are very loud. It's not like LED light. They were designed to be run continuously. So the fan is very quiet, especially the one I use. Like it's probably the quietest light I ever used. And then they are not very hot. They're LED. And so it's just like a lot easier when you're working with video light and then trying to experiment with different lighting setup or trying to learn how to use the light. Video light is a lot better. Give it a try. Okay, now let's move on to the second look. The second look is we just want to get the gray background, the dark gray background. So because our lighting is set up in a way it can give us a true exposure of the background, no matter what background you use. So basically we just replace the background, we get a second look. Actually, no matter you want to use dark gray or you want to use red, blue, or beige, or whatever color you want to use. If before you always have this issue, it's like you bought this background is one color. When you take the photo, it looks something different. It's because the position of the light. But this lighting setup actually fixes this problem. No matter what color you want to use, you will get a true color. So now let's move on to the third look. This time what we want to do is we want to get pure black background. So can we just like replace the background with like a black one? You might have an issue with it. The reason is that because this light setup, the light source is very large, it's bouncing from the wall, and then the distance between subject and light and the background and the light are same, so the intensity is the same. So it's very likely the light gonna spill on the background and then end up make your black background not look like black. It might look slightly like a dark gray. So in order to do that, we had to change the light. So what I did is I switched the, I added to a 36-inch softbox. And then I moved the light to a different position, basically around like a 45-degree to the side, around like a slightly above model's eye level, and then pointing down. To do this, I changed the distance between the light and the subjects much shorter than the distance between the light and the background. So the light intensity on the background gonna be a lot lower. So that way, we make sure the background maintain dark. To make this even more effective, I even add a grid. So grid is control the light spill, so make sure there's a very little light spill on the background. So that way, without even change the background from dark gray to black, you can still get the black background. Okay, so now let's change to the next one. So what gonna happen if we replace the background from dark gray back to the white background? What it gonna look like? Well, you're gonna end up get this light gray background, which is like the look many fashion photography do, is like have this light gray background. It looks super cool, especially you do black and white, is very good. And then you can just do this, you just one light, and then without changing anything, you just roll the paper back and put back the white background, and then you got this high fashion look. And then of course, no matter it's bouncing from the wall or you're using just one light source with dark background or light gray background, and some more or less you're gonna have an issue with the fill light, like maybe the shadow's too dark or something, but you can easily add a 1 or 2 reflector. Sometimes add 2 reflectors, one and either just add a fill light to model's face, fill out the shadow, and then I put another reflector at the back, and then bounce the light back, use a silver side, remember? And then it can even work as a kicker light. Like for example, in this shot, I use a large silver reflector at the back. When you'll see there's a light over there, just ignore the light, it's not even on. I basically use as a reflector holder, just hold the reflector in position. And then you can see there's a subtle kicker light around the model's shoulder and a little bit kicker light around her chin. So that just gave us like a little bit more 3D look, because you can have this like light, shadow, and light again, so it looks more 3D. And this is a look I really like. Yeah, so this is the like the 4 different look with this simple light setup. There's something I want to mention. Okay, first is you will find out that this lighting setup actually works better with smaller studio because the wall is so close, it's easy to, but what if you have a very large studio, the wall is far away, or somebody, hey, you know what, I don't have a studio, I just want to use my living room as a studio, try this, but my wall is not white, it's like blue or green, like could be any color. So then what I'm gonna do? Well, it's very easy. You just need to get a large, like a reflector, you know, you can buy it from Amazon, like $50 or something, or use a V-flat and then just put it a little bit closer, and then you can just do the same way and working exactly the same way as the wall, right? So that's one thing. The second thing is for the third and the fourth look, we actually use a softbox, but can we get the same look without even using a softbox? The answer is yes as well. So what we're gonna do is like, when you bounce the light from the wall, like if you change the distance and then the shape of the light actually change, like if you move the light closer to the wall, it will be a smaller circle. When you move the light away from the wall, it will be a larger circle. So basically, you change the distance, you change the size of the light modifier. This sort of works similar as those like a super expensive parabolic reflector with a zooming rod, and yes, some of them are like cost like thousands of dollars. This same idea, but this setup is way cheaper. So that fixes the problem of like, okay, so we actually can make the light source smaller even if we're bouncing from a wall. But remember, we also use the grid. So how can you grid a bounced light? The answer for that is that you don't use a grid, you actually use something called a flag. It's basically could be as simple as a cardboard painting black. So what you do is that you place the cardboard, you block the light from hitting the background, so the light is only hitting your subject. So for the third look, for example, we want to have this pure black background. What we do is that we put the light closer to the wall, so you're getting to the size roughly same as a 36-inch softbox. And then in the meantime, we add a flag and then block the light from hitting the background, so it's only hit the model. And then if you need to use a reflector, you always can play with the fill light to make sure there's not too much shadow on her face. You can get exactly the same look. So in theory, you can do all this without using softbox. The reason I use softbox is just like, you know, it saved myself a flag and then also a light stand to hold the flag. So I have more room on the floor in my studio. So I think, you know, just use softbox, and the 36-inch softbox is very popular. And then actually, if you don't have a 36-inch, you have a 48, you probably won't see too much difference. So you can totally just use that and then get the same look. So anyway, so all I want to try to tell you guys is actually you can totally get a high-end look without spending too much money. And the key thing is you understand how light works, and then you can control it to get the look you want. To do this, not only you're gonna save yourself so much money, you're gonna make your photo shoot super fun. Okay, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.